Hey everybody, welcome to day 145 on the CDT. Creepy tent video is a little bit brighter. I noticed, apparently 2 or 3 days too late, that my batteries are almost dead in my headlamp. And that's why the headlamp was really dull. And that's why creepy tent videos look like I'm hiding out in a cave making, videos to smuggle out asking for help. So today's a bit brighter, but I'm noticing that with the brighter lamp, you can see I haven't showered. What is this, day 9? Tomorrow will be day 10, because that's when I left Helena. So a few things to discuss in this video. You might be able to hear it's raining, so I'll get to that in a second. Okay, so let's start with, today I took a mental health day on the CDT, and you may be asking, well, does that mean you didn't hike anywhere? And no, I hiked. When you're hiking this trail, and you come to a junction with two trails, like there's different paths ahead of you, and let's say there's not a CDT marker telling you which direction to go, and that happens a lot. Before you pull out your navigation device, whatever that is, if you take a look at the two trails and you pick the one that's the roughest or looks like garbage, 97% of the time, that's the CDT. I don't know why us thru hikers can't have nice things, but it seems like we can't. So this morning I got out of my tent and I hiked 1/10 of a mile, and I knew there was a junction. And I stopped and I knew I had to go right. And I looked at the trail to the left, and it was a single track trail. So it was a smaller trail, but it appeared that the vegetation on the side of the trail had been either cut or had been like raised in a way that like it couldn't grow back anytime soon. So you could see the trail, and there was enough room for your feet, and it was dirt, right? The trail to the right, which is the CDT, if you look down the trail, the vegetation was overgrowing on the trail. There was actually a couple of sections on the trail you couldn't see because the vegetation was so overgrown. And it looked like a footpath. It didn't look like a trail. It did have dirt, which was nice. So I take the right, and I get on the CDT, and for the next, I think, 8 miles, I'm just bushwhacking. Like, I'm on the CDT, but it's like I'm not on a trail. It's overgrown. I'm bushwhacking. At one point, there's like a slew of roots, and I can't see them because the shrub, like the vegetation on the sides, have overtaken the trail. Then the rock carpet returned, and I couldn't see the rocks. So it's not a matter of it just being a difficult trail to hike. Like, it's dangerous. Like, this overgrowth and the skinniness of the trail and the terrain of the trail makes it dangerous to hike. Like, you're just waiting for somebody to break an ankle or step wrong and pull an Achilles, like just pop it, or worse, have MCL and other ligament damage in your knees. And I think really early on in these videos, I made a comment that embrace the brutality is like the motto of the CDT. And I've come to realize that that's just public relations BS. It is. It's basic. I don't know if it's used to basically say like, hey, there's not enough money to maintain this trail properly, so you got some crap coming. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But the first 8 miles today, they were rough. And I still hiked them in quality time, like 2.5 miles per hour, because I had to get 27 miles today. I didn't have to, but if I did, that meant that I had about 20 miles, 21 miles or something tomorrow, and I could get into town at a decent time, pick up my resupply box, do laundry, take a shower, get some town food, and figure out like the campsites for Glacier, and then be ready first thing on Wednesday morning to call the park and get things situated. So I got out of the tent this morning, like raring to go. I got to get these 27 miles. And I was also excited because the way, like I've already started looking at the permits, and the way they're set up, like the campsites I'm choosing, I think today may have been the last like above 25 mile day I need to do. I mean, it depends on contacting the park and seeing if the campsites I've chosen are available or even open, and we'll get to that in a second. But I was excited, like 27 miles, maybe the last time I have to hike this mileage. Lower mileage means I don't have to get out of my tent at the crack of dawn in grizzly bear country when it's cold, like really cold. And it also means I don't have to hike until 6:45 to 7:30 at night and rush to, you know, filter water, cook dinner, and then throw up my tent and, you know, not really have time to stretch properly or other things, right? So after 8 miles of bushwhacking, the last mile was switchbacks down to another trail junction. And those switchbacks were okay. They weren't overgrown. The tread was okay. And I get to the junction, and I know I need to turn right because I already looked at the navigation app before I got to the junction. And I looked at the trail to the right, and I was like, wait a minute. This looks like an old, like, Jeep road or Forest Service road that's been turned into a trail. It's wide, it's dirt, there's no overgrowth. I can't see any trees that are falling across the trail. Like, it looks nice. And I look at the other trail that we're leaving, and I'm like, man, that looks rough. I mean, it's not as rough as the overgrown garbage I just hiked through, but it still looks rougher than this nice Forest Service road. So I was quite surprised. And I hike a mile down the Forest Service road and get to another junction. And the CDT turns left off this really nice like road / trail. And I look at the comments in the navigation app. And the comments are, hey, guess what? You can stay on that road, and about 3.5 miles down, you're going to reconnect to the CDT. And if you take this road that's been turned into a trail, it's flattish, there are no blowdowns, it's not overgrown, and it's a really nice tread. If you take the CDT to the left, you're going to climb 1,700 feet over Running Owl Mountain, and you're going to end up in the exact same place where you're re-meeting this trail, or this trail 103 is what it's called. Or that's the number. It's called, there's a name to it, but it's trail 103. And so I'm standing there thinking to myself, I have climbed almost every single pointless up and down from Mexico to northern Montana. I think I may have missed one or two because of a fire closure and maybe like having to get to a water source or something. But for the most part, I've stayed on what's known as the red line, which is the CDT proper. And so in our app, the red line is the the actual CDT or official CDT. And so people just refer to as red line. And I've hiked the red line and the pointless up and downs across 5 damn states. I just bushwhacked for 8 miles. I got to get 27 miles on the day. I am exhausted. I'm mentally exhausted. And I said to myself, I'm not going over this mountain. There's no point to go over this mountain. Absolutely no point. We're going to go up and over this thing, 1,700 feet of elevation. We're going to end up in the exact same place as if I walk down this road. And this road is distance, meaning as the crow flies, right? You're going from point A to point B. You're getting there as quickly as possible. Climbing over this mountain is mileage. For some reason, Idaho, Montana is focused on mileage. They will wind you all over the place and have you do pointless up and downs and have you do like pointless U-turns and all sorts of stuff. And it's unnecessary except for just to increase the mileage of the trail and also this section. And so I didn't hike Running Owl Mountain. So that was the mental health day that I took today. Was I'm not going to do this pointless up and down. There's no reason to. I'm really glad I didn't, because fast forward to the end of the day and I get to another junction, and the comments in the junction are, hey, if you stay on Trail 101, it's flat, it's great tread, there are no blowdowns, it's a smooth trail. The only issue is you have to do like 10 fords of waterways. There's no way to get across them dry, and so your feet are going to get wet. And my feet don't do well wet. Like I have like, I think 4 or 5 hot spots on my feet because of the 4 days, 3 of 4 days of rain that I had just a couple of days ago. When my feet got wet and I got hot spots from hiking when my feet are wet. So I'm like, 101 sounds nice except for those 10 fords. I don't want to do those. So I took the red line, the CDT proper, and that's Trail 137 in this section. And immediately we start doing pointless up and downs. There were 5 pointless up and downs within the first, I think, 4 miles or something like that. Instead of like traversing around these dirt hills, like we're going straight up these dirt hills and we're winding around and switchbacking and all sorts of stuff. Again, mileage, not distance. And you can see trail crews have done an amazing job. The number of blowdowns have got to be near 500 on this section. I could be a little high on that, but like I took a picture. There are times when you can count 24 damn trees that they've cut just recently because they were all like just thrown about is what it looks like. And the trail crews have done an amazing job. However, there's a note that about a half mile down the trail crews ran out of time, and there's a mile of just really bad blowdowns, which I'm going to have to hike over in the morning. So do I wish that I stayed on Trail 101? Yeah, except for those 10 fords. You know, I don't understand why the CDT coalition didn't say, you know what, Trail 101 makes more sense. Let's spend a little bit of money on some log footbridges for the hikers, and let's not build this trail that goes up over something for absolutely no reason. Like those 4 or 5 climbs, I think they're each a few hundred feet. Like between 300 to 500, I think, for each of the ascents. I don't understand. I don't understand. So I'm really glad I skipped Running Owl Mountain because I had a reserve of frustration to be able to complain about this, you know, second not alternate, but red line, where there is an alternate that focuses on distance and getting you there, you know, on a flat surface rather than taking you over a bunch of puds. So that was my mental health. I didn't have to climb 1,700 feet back over 7,000, and I was able to save about 3 miles, which I took a longer lunch, and I was able, for the first time in like 6 or 7 days, I had cell service, and I was able to reserve some hotels in East Glacier, and I'm glad I did, because There's a bottleneck right now in East Glacier. You have hikers that are trying to get to East Glacier so they can get into the park and hike to Canada. You have hikers that are hiking in the park that are finishing, and then once they finish in Canada, they come back to East Glacier. So you have like double the number of hikers in East Glacier. So like the first hotel I reserved for tomorrow night only had one room left, and they didn't have anything available for Wednesday night. So I got a hotel room in that hotel for Tuesday, and then I had to go over to a different hotel for Wednesday that did not have any vacancy on Tuesday, but they did on Wednesday. So I got to switch hotels between the 2 days. So like that's how, you know, limited the number of spaces are right now. But I got the hotel rooms, and I was able to do that because I saved 3 miles, not going over pointless up and down, and doing extra mileage for no reason. And so I was able to take like an hour and 15-minute lunch to eat lunch for 20 minutes and then spend the rest of the time getting the hotel situation going and also researching how to get out of East Glacier after I'm finished, and also looking at rec.gov to see if the backcountry sites for Glacier are on there. So it was really nice to have that extra time during lunch to get that stuff taken care of, because I need to get it taken care of. So that's the first thing. It was mental health day. The second thing is, so I'm on this trail 137 instead of staying on 101. I'm going up and down these pointless up and downs, and all day we've had clouds blowing through like really quickly. Like the wind has been, not down here, but the wind up there has been a really quick pace, and you can see the clouds just moving very quickly. And some of them are storm clouds, like they would, you know, have thunder in them, and then they'd be gone in 5 minutes. Towards the end of the day, when I'm on this pointless up and down trail, like a huge cloud comes through, like really dark cloud, and it has thunder, and it's moving fast, but it's such a big cloud it doesn't look like it's moving fast. And so it gets pushed to the east, over to the next like mountain range. I don't know if it's a mountain range, maybe it's just like across the valley. And we have blue skies and sun again. Suddenly, the storm switches directions, and it starts coming back west. And the cold from the wind of that storm met up with the heat that was in the valley from the sun, and it, you know, this valley sun had been there almost all day. And suddenly there's a thunder cloud or thunderstorm clouds up high, but then a low cloud forms on the ridge over there and then starts filling up the valley. And so I'm thinking to myself, man, if that fog or cloud comes over here and socks me in, it's going to get dark faster. And I'm stuck on this traverse with pointless up and downs. There's no camping around here. It's nothing but an old burn area with blowdowns all over the place. I'm in a bit of trouble if this thing keeps coming. And sure enough, it kept coming. And with it, it brought a cold wind, and it brought the smell that anybody who lives in an area where snow falls knows the smell. And it's the smell of snow. And all it takes to shut down Glacier or the CDT hiking season is one big snowstorm. And this storm filled up the entire valley with its either low cloud or fog. And thankfully right now it looks like it's just rain. It's not snow or freezing rain, but it's been spitting. Like it's threatening to have a big storm, but the big storm hasn't hit yet. So I don't know if it's just going to tease us and get blown out during the night, or if we're going to have rain tomorrow, or I'm going to wake up to white stuff on the ground. I don't know. And I thought to myself, man, for 4 days it rained in the area, and I got rained on 3 of the 4 days. I got 1 day of just bluebird skies with sun. Yesterday it was cloudy, it was like a layer of clouds. It started with as wispy clouds and then it just became a layer of clouds. And every once in a while the sun would poke out. But it didn't rain, and it stayed relatively warm. And then today we had the clouds just motoring through, but the sun and the blue skies were the dominant part of the day until the very end. But for the life of me, I can't get, before the 4 days of rain, I did get, I think, like 4 days of sunshine and warmth with blue skies. But I don't think I'm gonna get that for the rest of the trip. Like I got a hike tomorrow into the East Glacier, and then I got 4 hiking days, I think, in Glacier National Park. So I don't know what the weather's gonna do. I'm gonna take a look at it when I get to East Glacier, but these storms seem to be frequent, and they seem to be threatening snow. Like, it gets really cold when the storms come. I'm surprised it's rain right now. I thought it was going to be snow, or at least freezing rain or sleet or something. Man, the storm couldn't wait 1 day. Like if I'm in East Glacier tomorrow and this storm comes in, it's like, man, thank goodness I'm in East Glacier. But it didn't. It hit when I was on trail. Because I was on the Traverse and this storm hit, like, my camp is horrible. I did the best that I could with it, but it's on an angle and an angle, so it's like high point up in the corner. I'm tucked underneath like 2 or 3 trees on this Traverse. It's a miracle I found this little place that doesn't have like a bunch of dead trees around it. It's pretty sheltered by the 4 or 5 living trees that didn't get hit by the fire. And these are big trees. It's the best I could do. Like that low cloud or fog was coming in. It was turning things dark quickly, and then I heard thunder above it. So obviously the thunderstorm got pushed back west. So I'd made the best I could. I'm not going to sleep well though, because I'm basically sleeping like the last thing. Okay. I don't know if I want to hike Glacier National Park. Glacier National Park was the highlight of the trip for me because I'd never been there, and I was really excited to see the park. Right now, it feels like I'm just rushing to get through to finish a trail. Like I'm not going to get to enjoy the park. I'm just trying to hike through as quickly as possible because I'm in grizzly country hiking solo, and I'm trying to finish a trail before winter comes. And I thought to myself today, what if I get into East Glacier tomorrow and take a 0 day on Wednesday and then just call it good? And then come back next summer, like in August, when it's warm and you can take your time and spend like 5 or 6 days in Glacier with a friend or a couple of friends, and you're not worried about grizzly bears, and you get to enjoy the park rather than just run through the park. So I guess this is a warning that, and you're not going to see this for a few days until I can get the stuff uploaded, but this is a warning. I'm at peace right now. I have continuous steps from Mexico to northern Montana. Tomorrow it'll be East Glacier. It'll be more than 2,700 miles. And it's an authentic through hike, or not authentic, it's a traditional through hike, meaning I didn't jump around. I went from Mexico to East Glacier. I have more mileage than the PCT. I didn't get my 3,000 miles, but I wasn't going to anyway as soon as they closed that national forest. And I want to enjoy Glacier National Park. I don't want to run through it. Now this might change. Maybe I get into East Glacier, I have a 0 day, and I decide, you know what? Let's just do the 4 days and get this thing finished. And that way you can say you had a complete through hike, and then still come back next summer and enjoy the park. So instead of going to Waterton this year, maybe just go to Chief Mountain because it's the easier of the two. You stay in the States, like you go right up to the border, but you stay in the States. You can get a shuttle or hitch a ride from, there's a trailhead that's not very far from that Chief Mountain terminus, and call it good and then come back. So who knows, maybe I get to East Glacier and decide, hey, the weather looks like it's going to be nice, so why don't we go ahead and just finish this thing. But I am contemplating that I don't need to hike Glacier National Park this year. I can call East Glacier good and come back next year and enjoy the park in August when it's warm, and I'm not rushing. I think part of this decision is also, like, many of the places in the park are already starting, like, they're either closed or starting to close. Mini Glacier, like, they've already closed, like, their store and many of their services. I think 2 Medicine, that store's finished for the season. I know that some of the ranger stations will stop issuing permits, and that's coming up within days here. And also, I think Glacier, like, they kind of winterize themselves, so they'll pull bridges and other things. And I think I saw a note that they're planning on starting to winterize next Monday, so a week from today, basically. So that means I'd need to finish by Sunday, which I can do. I can hike Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, be finished up at Chief Mountain. But I think I'd feel rushed, and that's also dependent upon me being able to get camping spots where I need to get camping spots, like mileage wise. So who knows? Next video you see, I may say, hey, I'm in East Glacier and I'm all done for the season. So and I'm actually not disappointed if I don't rush Glacier National Park. I was really looking forward to it, and I don't want to feel rushed. I don't want to feel like I'm just trying to squeeze something in. So we'll see what happens. All right, this has been a long video, and it's not really diarrhea of the mouth. I think those 3 things were kind of important to talk about, where when like, usually I'll listen back to the videos before I post them on YouTube, and I don't watch them. I just listen, like, while I'm, like, going through my resupply or like checking other things, like going through, you know, maps and taking out the ones I don't need, or whatever the chore is. I'll do the chore and I'll just listen to the video, and I do it to see if I misspeak and I can put corrections in the description, or if I said, hey, I'm going to put a, you know, link for something in the description, and it's like, oh, it's a good reminder, I need to put that link. I have a feeling when I listen to the videos from these like the past 8 days, not this one, but the past 8 days, well, this one too, I guess, because it's mental health day. So let's just say from Helena to East Glacier, those 10 days of hiking, so 9 or 10 videos that I put together, when I listen to them again, I think I'm gonna hear the mental fatigue, and I think I'm going to hear the stress of hiking through bear country by yourself. And I think I'm gonna hear that in the videos and say, yeah, you can 100%, like, the frustration with the trail tread, the frustration with the pointless up and downs, the frustration with mileage versus distance, the frustration with feeling rushed with Glacier National Park, the frustration of blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel like the negativity is gonna come through in these videos, and it's gonna be like, yeah, that mental fatigue and that stress, it's evident, and maybe you're not having fun anymore, buddy, and you kind of just need to take a step back. Because like I said, I don't want to hike through Glacier and not enjoy it. So anywhoozy. All right, I hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for watching the video, especially this really long one. I think it's going to be like 30 minutes or something. So have a nice evening, and hopefully I'll talk to you folks tomorrow from East Glacier, and I won't have to hike through snow to get there. So great, thanks, talk to you later.